Was that the start? Bonjour et bienvenue au Grand Prix de France pour la deuxième manche de Liège de course de feu, Session 6. Hello and welcome everyone to the Grand Prix of France, the French Grand Prix for Season 6's 10th race for the FRL. We are here in Le Castellet, Circuit Paul Ricard for another round of the FRL. I'm joined here, I'm Avogadro Raven, and I'm joined here in the commentary box with Nexi, and of course, as always, in race control, Pridus. What do you think of today's circuit in the south of France, Nexi?
It is certainly, as a driver, I don't think it really stands out much in the calendar, if I'm being honest. As a race, watching it, though, it's very nice to see. It's a little tricky. It's got a very technically challenging first sector, long back straights on the second and third sectors. That little horseshoe turn that marks close to the beginning of that third sector is very, I would say, infamous in F1 spaces for a certain Monegasque driver's crash there. A couple drivers coming out. It'll be a very interesting race. We got all three of our championship front runners here right now. Corvix is our new championship leader once again, leading Lenny by a grand total of 4 points right now.
Not much between them at all after the race last week, which it should have been Lenny's to win. But of course, there was a couple of bad calls, a couple of bad spins, and it put him out of the race. He did manage to claw back some points, and I think was quite fortunate with the safety car. But that was a big swing towards Corvix, who went on to win that race and got to a nice sort of 25 points.
Yeah, this is a track where you are going to see a lot of DRS passing. I don't think the qualifying performance is as critical as it is on a track like, say, Monaco, which we will never go to, but more illustrating it for the points. You can pass here quite a bit. You got that chicane right after the first DRS zone in Sector 2. The front pit straight's not quite as good of an overtaking spot because it's a very awkward turn one. Not that long of a run down there, though, and we will have an Alpine followed by Skylar setting our first qualifying laps.
So opening up the DRS here on the start-finish straight, we head into turn 1, which I believe is a little bit uphill, was a bit of an incline, and then you hit the curbs and then you go downhill again through turn 2. The circuit is otherwise relatively flat in terms of elevation, but that's perhaps the highest bit of elevation. Now, as we hit turn 3 into turn 4, slowing down quite a lot for what I find is the most difficult part of the circuit in turn 5, then going into a much faster turn 6. But don't lose the rear end! As I was saying that, Random has spun and has also gone through. Need to be a bit more careful re-entering the circuit there. Almost came in reverse back out in front of the Aston Martin. As you see the Alpine try to rejoin the circuit. Not too easy turning circles on these cars, as his Alpine teammate will pass him as well. We can jump back on to the Aston Martin of Skylar, who's got through the chicane and is coming around turn 10 now. You could do that flat, and you have to slow down quite a lot here for turn 11, which tightens up as you get to the exit. A little blast down to turn 12, which again tightens up onto the exit. Turn 13 is a bit of a no worry corner as you enter turn 14, which is the start of the pit lane, which cuts out turn 15, and now a very difficult, very slow corner. Get a good exit and across the line, and we'll have our benchmark that all of the drivers will try and beat, and I'm pretty sure will be beaten. A 131.4 from the Aston Martin.
Yeah, as I was listening to some of the inputs there was a little bit of a correction, maybe braking a little bit too early, getting on the throttle before having to go back on the brakes again. That'll cost you a little bit of time. Skylar definitely has a lot of time to be given as Adric beats it by over a second. Random sets a 2-minute time. Disregard that one.
We have the two Red Bulls coming across the line now. We have Lenny first, a 1:29.1 from the German driver. And Cyril, I believe, was just on his outlap, so he'll be coming across soon or he'll be going around and passing his teammate, hopefully, in order to actually set a timed lap.
Yeah, we might be seeing some more slipstream play here between the two Red Bull drivers. I know they gave that to themselves quite a bit last time out. We'll see what they're able to do here.
We've got a purple sector 1 from Syrah already.
Indeed. Lenny diving out of the way as late as he can. He didn't even have his DRS open, it looked like. Or he might have, but... just trying to help out his teammate, though. Give him as much push from Slipstream. Get out of the way before you give your teammate dirty air. And
Purple
you can gain
sector
a
2
lot
as
of
well.
time that way. Indeed. We do have the sole Papaya McLaren out on track. It is Korvix. Rounding out Sector 1, he's going to be going for his outlap. Meaning the last of our championship front runners to not be going out yet is Leo in the Mercedes. So I think he is coming out of the pits now.
DRS open, coming across the line, and we see a time of 1:29.12. Only just shy. Actually, no, that is 9/1000ths off of his teammate, of Lenny. Taking the purple sector 1 and 2, not quite sure if that was a purple sector 3, probably unlikely, but Lenny able to string those together and get a more consistent time across the whole lap.
Indeed, I think this will be pretty hard for Sierra to beat. He did gain a lot from the slipstream there, and it will put him into a good position if this holds out. That is very much going to be close to whatever the pole time is. Certainly above the drivers he has been fighting recently, unless that Sector 3 was so dreadful that he left quite a few temps on the board, but I don't think it was that dreadful. Sierra's a better driver than that.
We're going to have Korvix coming around the final turn here to go on to his first timed lap.
This is the American Dragon. He's had plenty of pole positions throughout this season right now. And he is going to be looking to add another one to his cap. The championship leader now entering turn 1, getting nice on the brake. Don't want to eat up too much sausage curves that can send you flying off into the very wide, very blue and red runoff areas. Gonna be hard to put it into the wall here, but we have seen drivers both here and in our real equivalent putting it in the wall.
For example, Mick Schumacher, way back when.
Mm-hmm. Korvix now rushing on into the chicane here. Gonna be looking to put a lot of time on the board. This track really is a compromise between your Sector 1 and Sector 3 and Sector 2 in terms of your aerodynamics. How much aero you want to take versus how much you don't. I know Sierra likes to set up his car for lower downforce, so that might be why he was as far back as he was. In that case, the slipstream might be crucial. Lenny's back out on circuit. Korvix about to cross the line. He has his DRS flap open, and that is going to be a 1:28.5, 6 tenths ahead of Lenny.
Leo is also out on a lap but hasn't validated it this time around. I wonder if he's got enough fuel in the car, just like he has had in Abu Dhabi, to go and do another lap. He's recharged his battery. It's currently back up to 96%. He is staying out, it looks like, so I think we'll finally see a hopefully a valid time lap from the German Dragon.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he's able to do here as he opens up the DRS flap to go out once again through the circuit, Paul Ricard. Have to be very careful on some of these turns as you push them of invalidation. There's an Alpine off the track.
Staying way out of the way of Leo here.
Yep, Leo, look, just take as much curb as you can.
A little bit of a correction there.
Slippy through that tricky, almost Mickey Mouse kind of section right there.
Yep, you always want to get onto the power as soon as possible through there, but not too early, otherwise you'll lose the rear end.
You'll lose the rear end, or you'll wash out wide, which we saw Leo do there. He was lucky to not get an invalidation through there, though. That might have been what cost him his first attempt at a lap.
I think his invalidation came around the turn 8-9 chicane in between the two straights on the back.
Mm-hmm. Here we go, though. Now going through this bendy Sector 3.
The corners come thick and fast at you around here.
Indeed they do. He gets on the power, gets onto the pit straight. He's left quite a bit of time here. Indeed, it puts him behind Sierra at a 129.5.
A good banker lap.
Indeed, it does put him ahead of Sparrow, who's filling in at the second Aston Martin seat for today.
He did do 2 outlaps there, so maybe a new set of soft compound tyres with that extra freshness will be able to help him get the grip, especially around this section here, to get a bit further up the field. And we don't even know how much fuel that he's been carrying, but it does look like he's blinking now, so I think it was just enough for 2 timed laps.
Indeed is. You want to give yourself the extra bit of room if you are not unsure for your first lap. It can certainly help anyway.
Looks like we might see Reaper stay in the pit lane once again. The confidence that he exudes, especially after a race that he could have easily won it after the safety car. If he decided to come in and pit and put on new softs last race, he's certainly handicapping himself, starting effectively from the back.
Indeed, it is.
I'm presumably guessing qualifying with by a bit of an unfair advantage. Most of the grid.
Perhaps.
That's an educated guess of mine.
Maybe that is their little arrangement. We will see, though, as Reaper not coming out of the pit. A very strong performance from the Williams driver right now, though. We'll have to see what he has in the tank here. Jinx with a 134 flat. Random sets his 134.3. Skylar still on a 131.4. We have Kimaru, AT Wolf with a 130.6. We have A Drake with a 130.2. 4 thousandths behind Sparrow on a 132.42 for her. We then have our front 4, Leo with a 129.5. He certainly has a lot of time in the tank to put out there. We have Sierra, who got a lot of slipstream help. He's at a 129.1. Lenny, a 129.113. Only 9 thousandths ahead of his teammate in the other Red Bull. Then we have Corvix with a very strong provisional pole, a 128.5. Couple cars out.
The ATW come into the pits.
Indeed, looks like he had managed to set that lap.
Sparrow, I think, is going to be the next person to start a timed lap. I'm on board with her now.
And we'll see her. We'll see what she has in the tank here. The Aston Martin team in a tight fight in the back end of the Constructors' Championship with the Sauber team. Williams getting a boost out of those back positions, and we have Alpine 2 in that roundabout range. Maybe not being here for the Ferraris will hurt their standings in the Constructors a little bit, as Sparrow is improving on her lap ever so slightly. She at one point was a full-time driver for this series, isn't doing it at this point anymore. But it is always nice to see her out on track, even in a reserve role. Let's see what she has in the tank. She now rounds this there. Gets the nose nice and pointed in. Comes on about. See what we have here. There's a yellow flag out for a Red Bull. That is Sierra. Corvix is out of the pits again. We have Skylar on an outlap as Sparrow is about to cross the line. He improves the tank.
No, yeah, sorry, it does improve. It doesn't improve position though.
Indeed, it does get her an extra bit of breathing room to A-Drake, but now she's going to have to potentially worry about impeding other drivers, so everybody behind her is just on their outlap.
Her car is much different than a Ferrari. She is taking the Aston Martin like a duck to water.
Dude, very good performance from her in the Aston Martin right now. Gonna be with Corvix. I'm sure they'll want to take a screenshot of that moment. Potentially. Those two very close. See what they have in the tank, though. Whole rest of the grid, except for Reaper, is on an outlap, and Random is on a flyer. Random, though, not finding any improvement so far. Everyone else is going to be on their outlap. Skylar is the one to begin the flying lap first, so he will lead the pack home.
This should be the last lap of all of these drivers, with only just over 30 seconds left remaining before the checkered flag of this session. So this lap will be critical for all of them.
Indeed, it will. Leo getting as close as he can to Corvix, going to maybe take advantage of some slipstream to find some extra time. You don't want to be too close, though, or you will get dirty air. That little bit of turbulence will upset you, make you slower in the corners. Generally just hurt your lap time. Skylar going through the Sector 2 chicane as several drivers now. That's Random in the pits, so he is not finishing off that lap.
Checkered flag's now out.
Checkered flag is out, so Jinx is done. You have Skylar coming around now, and then it'll be the Alpine of A-Drake, looking to get past Sparrow in the Aston Martin. Then we have a Red Bull, we have a McLaren, Mercedes, another Red Bull, and the Sauber. Skylar missing that last apex ever so slightly. We'll see what that comes out to time-wise. It'll probably be a 131. Yeah, 131.1. We have A-Drake now coming across with 130.1, so Sparrow did just enough. We now have Sierra going to be crossing the line momentarily.
Did have a bit of a correction through turn 13.
Indeed.
Very wide on the entry of turn 15 there, the final turn.
Indeed, he goes through. It looks like it's going to be a 129.231. No improvement here. Corvix improves to a 128.3. Leo gets a 129.2, so he will be behind Sierra. The slipstream was crucial. Lenny, a 128.8.
Did improve, but doesn't improve position. Still behind Corvix, but will be starting on the front row of the race.
Indeed, a good performance for the Red Bulls there. The teamwork at first did certainly help them. Corvix, though, just untouchable as he gets another pole position into the cap.
Half a second clear of Lenny. Of course, Reaper did not set a time.
Yep, at this point he has found another gear in his campaign as he is looking to solidify up that championship, but we'll have to see. The undercut around here, I believe, can be very powerful. It is a short pit lane, if I am not mistaken. That also does open up potentially a couple two stops.
Yeah, so we now wait at least 2 minutes for the drivers to confer with their teams and get their strategy sorted before we go for the formation lap. Who's your money on for today?
I'm curious about what kind of charge Reaper will do up the field, but I will say I think I like Lenny's form, though Corvix is currently in a bit of a good streak. He sometimes has those off days where he gets caught up in traffic and it just doesn't end up working out for him very well. He seems to struggle outside of clean air. It really just depends on how this race evolves. If there's a safety car, if Corvix is able to pit away from traffic, if Lenny is able to keep within DRS, then there's a good chance he'll do very well around here.
If there's no amount of pressure waiting on Corvix.
I think Corvix will be the fastest. If you take Reaper out of the equation, Corvix will be the fastest one around here. But I have this feeling that there is going to be something that goes wrong in this race, and I think once again it will be the Red Bulls that will pick up the pieces and will be the star drivers today. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but something in my gut says it will be a Red Bull that wins.
Story of their season.
Indeed, it is a very back and forth championship fight, though the Red Bulls and the constructors have just been on top of everything. They have the strongest pairing by a country mile. We'll drive a couple teams missing their second drivers too isn't helping matters. Pretty much the constructors, like Red Bull, have one hand on the trophy. You might even say have two hands on the trophy at this point.
Yeah, but you have 11 drivers today, and of course, yeah, Red Bull, as well as I believe Alpine, are the only teams that have their permanent drivers both in their seats today. Of course, Sparrow is taking my seat in the other Aston Martin, so they will also have 2 bites at the cherry today. Whether they can score many points or not, it'll be up to them.
Sparrow, at the very least, is a consistent point in her time with the Ferrari Scuderia. She was constantly able to at least score points. She got into her own tangles a couple times.
I was going to say it will be. She's a very fast driver, so the question will be able to keep her nose clean going through this circuit. Of course, the walls are quite far away, but Yeah, that doesn't mean the other drivers will be far away either. So yes, just like Corvix and just like other people who've had problems coming back through the field after a pit stop, if they pit early or pit late and then have to sort of fend off other drivers, there will be some wheel-to-wheel combat. So we'll see how these drivers do today as we are about to start the formation lap.
Yep, it's Corvix and the McLaren leading off in pole. Lenny lines up on the front row behind him. It's another Red Bull to lead up the second row. Sierra got a very good qualifying time, boosted by some slipstream from his teammate. We then have Leo in the Mercedes rounding out the second row. Another second row start for the German Dragon. Sparrow coming back as a reserve takes the Aston Martin to lead the third row. One of the highest starts that they've had all year. And then it's A-Drake in the lead Alpine lining up behind her. Fourth row, we have Kimaru in the Sauber right in front of Skylar and the Aston Martin. Those two have tussled a lot this year. We have Jinx leading off the fifth row for the Ferrari. It might be one of his better qualifying starts, at least in terms of the row. Not necessarily relative. Then we have Random in the second Alpine, last of those who put in the qualifying time. We don't have the Williams of Reaper doing another last to first challenge. We'll see how far up the grid he goes.
All very, very close together here through Sector 2, coming into Sector 3. Very, very, very close. It did look like at one point that the Ferrari of Jinx was going to go into the back of Skylar, or through turn 5 and 6. That didn't happen, at least that we could tell. As they come around turn 10, entering Sector 3.
Indeed, most drivers opting for the medium tire. Skylar and Random, though, opted for the hard tire.
Of course, Skylar will try and go off-piste and will try and do his own thing. He will try and probably turn this into... Oh, wait, actually, no, a hard tyre. He probably is going to try and do a one-stop here, which is unusual for him.
Yeah, though, starting with the hard tire does give you the tire advantage later on. We'll see if it pays off. You might be able to make the hard tire last the whole way around. This isn't that much of a hardware circuit on your tire. Drivers bunching up in the back there. They're all trying to get as much heat into the tires as they can.
AWS reminding us once again that the pit stop should be coming around lap 13 if they're going to do a one-stop, in which all variations of that one-stop seem to be possible.
Drivers now lining it up on the grid. We'll be away in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. The FRL's away in front as Corvix gets a really good launch. Lenny bogged down a little bit. Sierra gets a better launch than his teammate. Might even put his wing alongside. Leo unable to get any pressure, and the top 4 remained the same. Jinx and Random were fighting a little bit in the back, but so far our drivers are going through in formation. There's a yellow flag. It is for Random. May have had a little bit of a tussle with Reaper, or may have just gone off in turn 1. Did not catch it on the cameras, but Reaper up to P9, getting past the Ferrari of Jinx right now. But our top 4 are currently in formation as they were. We're now going down this front straight. We'll see who deploys enough battery to maybe make a challenge for a move here. Reaper putting a little bit of pressure on Skylar and the Aston Martin. But so far, so good. So far, so clean, as our drivers are now trundling on into Sector 3.
It did look like Sparrow was going a bit slow and could have gone into the back of A-Drake, and it looks like A-Drake now is going to try and go around the inside of lap 10-11.
They are fighting quite hard. Sparrow giving a little bit of squeeze to the Alpine and managing to hold on ahead. A-Drake trying to put his nose alongside, trying to get the space. We'll see what these guys are able to do right now. But Sparrow holds steady. She is holding in P5. Had a little bit of a compromised run, you can tell from the gap, and they had a little bit of a tussle going on. Hey, Drake pulling
the
off to the inside, manages to get by before turn 1.
A bit wide turn 1 as well for Sparrow, going off the circuit as well on the exit of turn 2, losing a lot of ground now onto the Portuguese driver, as we also see ATW in the Alfa Romeo try and poke his nose in around the outside into turn 3, and now on the inside of turn 5.
Yep, they fought that, they took that battle all the way through Sector 1, and they're still going side by side onto this back straight right now. No DRS
and it's
quite
Reaper
yet.
Reaper who picks up the pieces going up the inside of both of them. No DRS.
Yeah, Reaper gets a
yet.
He don't need DRS, he gets a 2-for-1 in there. That promotes him up to P6.
And out of all of that, Sparrow has come all the way down from about 5th or 6th position down to 8th, losing 3 places there within the first 2 laps.
Yeah, does she still have her front wing? Like, is there like damage on that Aston Martin? Because it feels like it's falling apart, but I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, front wing
Closing
looks
up very
as
close.
intact as it is.
Closing very close back up to the Sauber ahead. Still not able to make up that ground entirely. Does try to take a tighter line than the Sauber ahead as they come across the line. Leo sets the fastest lap now with a 1:32.7.
Yep,
DRS is now enabled.
Indeed, so Corbett's crucially unable to get the gap away, and the front 4 are kind of in a DRS strain right now. All of them relatively close together.
Well, they haven't started using DRS yet. Their first opportunity will be on this straight now, going through the detection point. So you can make up the ground and make the passes.
Reaper will also have it coming up on A Drake. So at the end of this lap, surely he will have cleared the back markers. No, not able to make a move quite yet, but we'll see what he's able to do in Sector 3.
I think he'll try and make a move in Sector 3 even before the DRS detection point. As Sparrow closes up to the back, almost looks like she tries to go off the circuit before turn 10 to try and get past ATW. Is going to go up the inside at turn 11.
Ooh.
Just about stays on the circuit.
A little bit,
Gets a
they're
cut back.
switching back each other right now. Very good fighting here. Sparrow has a lot of room, cuts off the line, and manages to get past. Brilliant overtake through into Sector 3 right now. These two are fighting very hard, but Sparrow able to mincemeat Kimaru there. Very strong performance from the British driver. Drake managing to stay ahead of Reaper for now. Leo is starting to close in on Sierra, but Sierra, I can tell you he has a lower downforce car.
Oh, big slide there for Leo behind the Red Bull of Syrah, going through turn 6. Does have DRS, will be able to close the gap back up again as the 2 Red Bulls seem to separate at this point. I think both of them had some troubles in the bridge between sectors 1 and 2.
Yep. Reaper did manage to get a DRS pass on the straight. Nothing too fancy about it. Just straightforward overspeed, pull off to the side. And now the Williams is looking down the front path.
And it looks like ATW is going to try and go up the inside of Sparrow once again at turn 10. Thinks differently. Thinks worse of it. Brakes earlier than Sparrow. Takes a much tighter line. There's collision!
They do come together. They were fighting each other hard, and now Sparrow losing a couple of positions right now. She is gonna be fuming over the radio. I can tell you that much. Knowing her.
The apex was definitely Kamaru's, taking that very tight inside line, and Sparrow just simply cut across him.
Yeah, I'll have to see that again. Certainly the stewards will be looking at that one. I don't think anybody's damaged, though.
It'll be interesting to see what the front wing is like on the Alfa Romeo.
DRS broken now, and Kimaru's just going to be in his own little race for a bit, though Skylar might be able to close up to the Alfa Romeo Sauber.
From all camera angles, it looks like the Alfa Romeo's wing is fine.
Leo has gotten past Sierra, so Sierra's starting to fall back.
Lenny is very close, within 4 temps, now 3 temps of Korvix.
Leo is
very close. We might see an overtake here. Tries to go around the outside.
Not yet forcing a defensive move from Korvix. Lenny is going to play this carefully. He knows what he has to do here. Not fancying the fight into that turn, though, that Pharaoh and Kimaru were certainly fighting about. Lenny going to be opening up DRS. Korvix still pulling away, probably using up some battery that Lenny is not. They're very tight. Lenny, I think, having a little bit of a lockup, having to be very hard on the brakes to make the corner. As they are now fighting on through, and there is a real fight for the lead here.
And Lynx has overtaken Skylar for 8th position.
Indeed, Kimaru is starting to fall back into that pack of the Ferrari to Aston Martins. Lynx holding it together up there in P8. Will
Lenny looks up the inside as they reach the end of the DRS zone, thinks wise of it. Let's go through the chicane for turn 8 and 9. Still keeping very close, I think closer than before, just around 3 temps, closing again as they enter turn 10. Takes a much tighter line on the inside. Korvix trying to hold the racing line without being too aggressive.
They're both just trying to hold each other right now. It is very narrow, this gap right now.
Korvix is just positioning his car slightly off the racing line each time, just to defend the inside or the outside, just to make Lenny think twice before actually making a move.
Yeah, trying to dissuade any lunge, not going defensive. Lenny not going for any kind of lunge here. See what they're able to do. Leo and Sierra are also very tight to each other, but Sierra just not quite able to get any kind of move done right now.
Lynx went off the circuit at the last corner and loses position to ATW, who takes it back into turn 1 with DRS.
Indeed, probably not. Probably wouldn't even keep that position if he was off track. Skylar is going to be able to put some pressure on the Ferrari.
Yeah, the two... Oh! Was there contact there or something? That seems quite janky for me. Might just be my connection, but Skylar is going all over the place.
Lenny off again!
He's dropped almost 3 seconds behind Korvix. We're mistaking that chicane.
So Lenny pushing as hard as he can right now. And that's going to invite Leo for an overtake here. But if you're in the McLaren team, you can take a little bit of a breath. You got some breathing room right now. And Korvix will have clean air. He won't need to worry about the car behind. He can just focus on setting laps as quickly as he can.
These kinds of errors isn't
Look like
exactly...
Oh, and Lynx goes way off the circuit, too much oversteer in turn 12, and is back down to 10th position, as Sparrow also overtakes her teammate for this race, and of course Lynx, who went off the circuit.
Yeah, that is going to allow Sparrow to potentially get back at Kimaru once the pace really kicks in. Kimaru's been falling backwards. See what they were able to do. Lenny's keeping a consistent gap to Corvix right now. So we might not be fully over, but it is currently Red Bull on the back foot.
These kinds of errors aren't exactly helping Lenny's championship challenge.
And it looks like we've got a DRS pass from Sparrow on Kamaru, who moves back up into 7th position.
Indeed, we'll see what she is able to do now as they enter Sector 3. This is where they've really been able to fight and tussle, but she is starting to pull away, which will only work to her benefit at preventing any kind of move, though she is blinking now. She deployed a lot of battery to make this happen. Kamaru not going for any kind of desperation lunge. Way too far back for that.
Yeah, far too far back. He needs to catch back up. Just put some consistent laps and catch up to the back of the Kitsune before trying to think of any moves. Although I'm pretty sure the blinking red light on the back of the Aston Martin will bring him a little bit more comfort.
It does mean that he has more resource to play with and get back into that DRS. So Sparrow currently has the track position. Right now, Lenny is holding steady. Leo not quite fast enough to make a move or make Lenny sweat, so Lenny can just focus on his own lap times and on getting back up to Papaya McLaren. Probably just outbroke himself, having a bit of a pressure trying to catch up to the McLaren here. See what they're able to do, though. Currently, Kimaru has gotten back within DRS range of the Aston Martin. Probably deploying his own resources very liberally here, now that Sparrow, has nothing left. Kimaru pulling off to the inside, but not quite able to get fully alongside. Now they're going through that long right-hander, but they both take the racing line, nothing able to move there. Sparrow retains the position, but Kimaru will have DRS as they go through.
I'm pretty sure Kamaru will be taking every single move that Sparrow has been doing around this circuit, following behind. Definitely, Sparrow certainly likes to take the wide line in sector, around turn 14. Not turn 14, turn 11. Not defending the inside line at all, which is, of course, where the two collided before. As we have some penalties already dished out to 5th and 6th position.
Kamaru nearly stuck his nose up the inside of Sparrow there into this section, this windy bit of turns like 3 through 5. Now going on to the DRS zone here. Reaper has that for track limits.
And there's a move being making on Sparrow right now in the DRS.
Ooh.
The two go through side by side through turn 8, and it's Kamaru who comes out ahead on the exit of turn 9. See if Sparrow can manage to charge back on the Alfa Romeo. All this time on the hard compound tyres, Skyler is still stalking him from behind.
Indeed, he's 2 seconds back here. So we are looking at Sauber and Aston Martin continuing to try to chase each other right now. Leo's getting close enough to make some moves happen here. The Red Bull looking about the same gaps that are both putting in about similar lap times in terms of our front pair. I wonder if they will try.
I think we might see a move here between Sparrow and Kamaru. A bit too far away. Will she dive up the inside? She won't. She stays behind into turn 1 over the crest of turn 2. Just so you know, you've got a problem with your microphone where you're sounding very robotic, by the way, Nexi. Yep, you are definitely a robot now. Leo is still within 3 tenths, opening up the gap now to 4 tenths, but still within that all-important 1 second. As it seems like Lenny does go into the pits. Lenny has taken to the pits. Briefly, because the nature of the pit entry did take the lead of the race, but that's only because you miss out the final corner of turn 15. So it promotes Leo up to P2 and Syrah to P3 and Reaper into P4. Lenny on pit exit now will come out behind A-Drake. It's a very slow pit lane exit, but is definitely coming out in P6 on the hard compound tyres as we start lap 12. No one else has pitted yet, so Red Bull likely trying to elect for the undercut, try and get some reaction out of Corvix and Leo, who was right on the back and taking all the DRS. A bit scrappy there through the chicane of turn 8, turn 9 for the Mercedes driver. That gap between P1 and P2 is over 3 seconds. Of course, it was much less between Leo and the car ahead before Lenny had pitted. So no DRS for Leo on this occasion. Only gap between drivers at the moment is ATW and Sparrow for P7, P8, which we might see a move once again. They exit the chicane for turn 9. Go around the very tight and twisty turns 10 and 11.
Sparrow
electing for the wide line once again. Stays behind on this occasion. Wide on the exit of turn 13, coming into 14. Sorry, that was turn 12 into 13. Much tighter around turn 14. Wider on the final turn of turn 15. And will have DRS to try and mount a charge once again onto the Alfa Romeo. And that is a massive closing speed and easily takes the position before the braking point of turn 1 as we have A-Drake and Lynx coming into the pits. Now, I think A-Drake has just made his pit stop and is coming out now into P9, also on the hard compound tyres. Does have a penalty, which I imagine would be a 3 second for track limits. Very easy to get here at Paul Ricard. I think still the closest battle on track is here between these two. That's a late move from Sparrow as closing the inside as ATW tries to go around the outside and then up the inside as well there through turn 9, takes the position back with aid of the DRS. It'll be interesting to see where these two were braking into turn 8 because that felt like quite a late move for Sparrow. These two certainly seem like the most entertaining battle on the track as Sparrow gets a 3 second time penalty for cutting the apex at turn 11. I think that was the tightest that Sparrow has ever made that corner, normally electing to go on the outside of that corner, taking the racing line, but not on that occasion, and that's one strike too many. As she tries to mount a charge back. Prid, you have news for us. Okay, Prid, yep, carry on.
It's not that I know of. Sparrow and Kamar have been constantly fighting her, constantly nose to tail throughout the last several dozen or so minutes or so. As I
Yeah,
checked.
when these two haven't been recovering from the incident that was quite early on in this race between the two of them at turn 11, these two have just been constantly jostling for position, trading position in DRS as ATW goes around the into the inside of turn 8 and makes a very clean overtake. This time, Rich Sparrow is going to try and get back once again, goes very wide on the exit of turn 9, going a few extra meters, which won't be helping his case. As I don't know about you, but have the clouds come in?
I do see a bit of cloud cover. I don't have a weather radar with me, which is unfortunate. I don't suppose it looks like a front's coming in.
Well, it looks like it also looks like Syrah has also pitted onto the hard tyres now, which promotes Reaper up to P3 as we see Sparrow coming into the pits. Syrah setting the new fastest lap on those new hard compound tyres. Nixie, you're back.
Yeah, my internet deaded.
Okay, well you sound perfectly fine right now. Are you okay to join? Do you need an invite?
Yes.
Okay. Would help if I go to the right tab.
So we see it. We see Sparrow coming out of the pits with a new pair of soft compound tires.
Interesting. So does that mean she's going to try and do a two-stop, or is she going to try and get to the end of this race? Or is she thinking that we're going to have a safety car at some point?
Could be any of the three, but I have a feeling it's just going to be a one-stop.
We are at lap 15 out of 27, so we are past half race difference. There will be lighter on fuel now after burning most of it off, or half of it off, at the start of this race, as we see Leo also take to the pit lane. He is on medium tyres at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what he goes on. I have a feeling it'll be the soft compound tyres. It is the soft compound tyres. Reaper has been promoted up to second position now.
The skies look to be darkening just a bit more.
Can we see rain at the very end of this race then?
Maybe. I don't. A lot of these strategies don't feel like the drivers are predicting rain, but maybe just some unexpected rain coming in.
As you see, ATW and Skylar also pit. It'd be interesting to see where Sparrow, where they emerge in versus Sparrow here. You pitted before them.
I do see
ATW
Lenny
going onto the hard compound tyres, and Skylar, who started on the hards, has gone onto the mediums.
Indeed. Back marker letting Corbix go. Sparrow now up into P7. So ahead of both the Alfa Romeo and the other Aston Martin right now. Two drivers left to pit. It's Corvix and Reaper. Both look like they might be setting up for soft tires. Leo is on soft tires.
We also have Random as well, who's currently running 11th position after a number of incidents. Is also still out on 14-year-old hard tyres.
Makes sense to me.
Corvix
You want to push this hard?
Seemed like Lenny also goes up to P2 on the newer compound of hard tyres, getting past Reaper in
and
turn
he is
14.
past Corvix.
Huge undercut then for Lenny.
Corvix coming out actually even behind, right? Fighting Sierra.
But is on the soft compound tyres. So will be faster on these first few laps once he's got those tyres up to temperature, but will he be able to hold on for the next 10 or 11 so laps until the end?
Not to mention that there is going to be a Reaper putting a little bit of a spanner in the works, so he should be pitting, if not this lap, then the lap after. Corbix might have timed this just right to avoid having to deal with Reaper anyway. But he has a little bit of work to do to catch up to the German, who is now leading the French Grand Prix.
Bit of a slide there for Syrah through turn 8. as he tries to hunt down Corvix ahead on the newer tyres.
Yep, so really getting ahead of Sierra here. If he waited one more lap, he would have probably been behind Sierra. That would have put his chances at winning it made him a lot harder anyway.
Yeah, having
Currently,
two cars in this race and working together as a team, Sierra could have very easily held up Corvix if he got ahead. But of course, the undercut wasn't quite good enough for Sierra to jump the man who started on pole.
Yeah. Corvix managing to easily get by Reaper on the 16-lap-old medium tires. Reaper going into the pits right now. So
Imagine
Corvix
he will come out on soft compound tyres to go to the end of this race.
Yep, Corvix will know exactly how long now he has and how much time he has to make up to win this race. Leo does set the fastest lap.
Reaper's on enters.
I think we're gonna. We might have rain, or is this a strategy from Reaper to disadvantage himself again?
No, I think I'm seeing a little bit of a drizzle right now. Oh, this race is getting exciting as I'm really glad my internet decided it actually wants to see the end of this race, because this is a very chaotic, good end to the race. Yep, I'm seeing wet puddles.
Random, of course, is yet to pit, so was this a strategy all along to try and hold out on the hard compound tyres and only make one stop? Of course, he is plumb last at the moment, but if he were a little faster and a bit more in contention, then that might have been the better strategy for all of them, to try and hold out for as long as possible and see if the rain comes.
Yeah, I think that was also Skylar's intention with being on the hard tire. I know he doesn't like to start on the hard tire, but maybe he just decided to pit anyway. But if everybody has to pit again, depending on Lenny's timing, his early pit and undercut might have paid off very well. I wonder if Corvix pitting here was a mistake, because everybody has to pit again.
He has gone fastest. Of course, the circuit isn't going to be drenched right from the get-go. It will take a few laps. But I think we will see some wet tyres come onto these cars, with the exception of Reaper, before the end of this race.
Indeed. We'll see how long they decide to hold on. Corvix is very much catching up to Lenny right now. The hard tires struggle in the wet first. He will have DRS as the laps, as DRS has not been disabled quite yet. But we are starting to see wet effects on the track as the track state becomes wetter and wetter. It is going to be a matter of feel for these drivers, as it looks like Adric is right. No, sorry, that was a lapped Alpine I was seeing behind the Red Bull there.
Yep, I got caught up by that myself, as it looks like Corvix is going to try and make an overtake on Lenny. Looking around the outside of turn 11, switching back to the inside as they go into turn 12, around the outside again, struggling to keep onto the circuit. Doing a switchback though, it looks like there was a millimeters between the two as Corvix takes the lead.
Corvix takes the lead of the Grand Prix in dramatic fashion.
Lenny dives in.
Lenny's pulling in. The hard tires aren't working, and that does make sense. Whoever times this switch to the Inter's right is going to have a huge advantage. This might be a pit for the Grand Prix right here, right now.
Brandon
Lenny
also comes into the pit as well, being the last one to swap tyres. Of course, probably going on to intermediates now as well.
Have Red Bull time this perfectly. We will see as the Red Bull comes on out.
And
the undercut is powerful. We saw
Reaper's going to overtake the two Alpines, and is currently now in 5th position behind the leaders.
Indeed, I think Red Bull timed this just right now. A late switch to Inters is what could have determined this Grand Prix. Reaper putting in good times right now compared to those still out on the dries.
It looks like an ice rink out there.
Indeed, Lenny is starting to eat into his teammate right now very quickly. DRS is disabled. Everybody's surely going to be coming in this lap right now. We do have Sauber and Ferrari in the pits.
Yep, sliding all over the place. Corvick surely is going to be coming in here, even though he's on brand new soft compound tyres. Really struggling with the traction out of turn 12 and around turn 11. It looked like he was going to be staying out, but no, he just about managed to brake at the right time, coming into the pit lane.
Yep, pushing very hard on that brake, but Lenny
Leo also comes
surely will get on by. Zira should be coming in. He is.
I think it's Skylar and Sparrow, which are the only two out. The Aston Martins getting their strategy all wrong, perhaps.
Indeed. Lenny will have a chance to get on by the McLaren right now. It's gonna be close.
We just saw...
Lenny is through.
Yep, we just saw him go past. That was brilliant timing for Lenny.
Indeed,
Once again, making the undercut work.
Yep, that pit stop was the Grand Prix right there. Corvix will not have DRS as they go on through Sector 1 right now.
And Reaper also gets past Leo, who was just making his pit stop for Inters as well.
Indeed.
Reaper's currently on the podium.
Yep, Reaper's
But Leo's posting very quickly.
And Scholar's still continuing on.
Leo seems to have much better traction in the Mercedes versus the Williams.
Yeah, I think Skylar just did not want to double stack the Aston Martins there. But Leo pulling off to the inside of that Williams right now, but not quite able to get on by. They are
very close
drifting right now.
Very close through turn 9, the pair of them, the two Germans.
Yeah, I think Leo is going to be conservative with his overtaking here because of that 3-second time penalty. He just needs to keep within range for that podium spot.
And Corvix is right on the tail of the Red Bull as well, and makes a big slide on the exit of turn 12 going around 13. Very unlucky for him, losing a little bit of time to Lenny ahead, who still has track position, going sideways through turn 15, the American.
I could also tell you that the German was able to get on by right now. He managed to get onto the inside of the line around that long right-hander. Made it stick, got traction, and is now fast and through, and has a lot of time to go, but, well, it looks like P3 will be the end of his day. He just has to defend it.
Another 3-second time penalty I just saw show up on our feed for Sparrow, who's currently in 8th position, behind Skylar. ATW looked like he was going to try and make an overtake onto Sparrow. Coming up to both Aston Martins now, surely Skylar will come into the pits, giving a wide berth for his teammate.
Indeed.
No, he stays out.
What is Skylar up to?
What was he playing? You can't.
Does he think he can?
No.
Does he think he can? He'll probably be better staying out and then losing these two positions here and not losing any positions to links behind, or does he think there's going to be an end to this rain?
Might be thinking there's an end to this rain, or that it even gets worse, and everybody has to pit again for the full wet tire.
But the laps are counting down.
Indeed.
A bit late for that.
We'll see what the plan.
Corvix is still behind Lenny here as they are about to start lap 23. Still Lenny in P1, Corvix P2, and Leo in P3. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to make the dive or the move this time. Maybe Corvix is biding his time.
Yeah, you can really see how crucial DRS can be for making overtakes with these cars right now. Modern Formula 1 cars kind of need it a lot of the time in order to get overtakes.
I'm not quite sure if the same is going to be on Corvix's feed, but it looks like Lenny is bouncing all over the place, teleporting once again with poor internet, perhaps, or a poor connection. Corvix has gone a little bit wide through turn 6. Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe being a little conservative on the driving there.
Ooh, a bit wide there, a bit too much overspeed going into turn 8. Not losing too much time to Lenny, who does break away a little bit. The gap hovering around about half a second between the two.
Indeed. If Corvix had DRS here, he probably would be in the lead by now, but
And we have
currently these two are in a strong fight. Track position's crucial. Skylar finally pits.
Indeed. So it'll be, I'm saying indeed now, like you are. So Skylar's in the pits, getting off those 6-lap-old medium compound tyres. I think he will lose position to Lynx here, as the leaders also come through. Be interesting to see if he gets lapped. I think he will get lapped. Down in 10th position now.
Yeah, that's gonna probably be good for the leaders, who will not have to deal with. No, they will have to deal with a blue flag situation as well. Those can often throw a wrench into tight fights for the lead. We'll see how the leaders navigate it. If Skylar will lift and get out of the way very quickly.
They're not close enough yet.
Trouble. Surely they will get close enough, though, once this.
And Syrah has ducked from the session. I'm going to invite him back in.
Got it. I saw a little bit of squirreliness from Skylar, but I'm not sure if that was just connection.
And it looks like
picking up a move. Lenny has to go defensive, but Corvix goes hard to the inside. They
There's a bit
are
of a
wheel
contact
banging
there.
now.
Corvix cut the corner,
Oh.
3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but that was a very, very questionable move there.
Indeed, that is going to be the race, though, with the 3-second
the
time penalty.
victory.
Indeed, that is a time penalty. If he was off the circuit, and you probably had the better angle than I did. Off the circuit, that's gonna confirm it.
He's jumping across the curb there at turn 8. Random's gone onto soft compound tyres. Are they trying to see the end of the race? Will we have the DRS reopen?
We'll have to see right now, but they are going to be approaching Skylar. Corvix has to put the power down. Lenny just needs to hold 3 seconds. Given how close these two are in terms of raw pace, that is more than doable for Lenny right now. He also has to keep it clean.
We have more cars diving into the pits now. We have Reaper diving into the pits. The first person who put on the intermediates before everyone else. Seems that the rain has stopped and it's just going to dry up the track now. So I'm fully expecting there to be some soft compound tyres going onto this car, onto the Williams.
There are only 3 laps to go right now.
And Skylar skidding off as well. Having to let by the two leading cars. The gap between the two leaders is only 1.2, not the 3 seconds that Corvix will need. Of course, there'll probably be some refuting of track limits at some point.
Indeed.
After this.
Indeed, this race will probably go to the stewards.
Drake gets another 3-second time penalty. I believe that'll be up to 6 for him. DRS has been re-enabled. We're on our third to last lap here. It'll be interesting to see if any of these leaders will come into the pits. I don't think we will.
No, I don't think you have enough time left. Like, this isn't like if they were on slicks, I would say the call here is to pit. Like, if this were slicks and it started to rain, you get your Sochi 2018 kind of scenario. Where 2 laps from the end, it's just too dangerous to stay out on the slicks. You need to pit. Here, though, there really isn't a disadvantage to staying on the inters besides just pure time. And there isn't just enough time to make up the gaps. Not fully, anyway. We'll see what Reaper's able to do here, but I can only see him getting back in the 5th, really. Getting in the 4th for Syrah right now is going to be a long shot for the Williams driver. And surely there's no podium on the table right now, on the cards right now. Lenny holding that crucial 3-second gap. It is currently 2. I think
He's
he is
just
taking
dropping
it
now in the
easy.
slipstream. He does need to stay within that 3 seconds before the end of the race, and they're about halfway through the penultimate lap.
Indeed, I think Corvix is just burning every ounce of battery he has to make sure to just kind of confirm that he will have that lead.
AT Wolf has gone into the pit lane again, got 5 seconds time penalty in addition to new tyres. Massive gap between himself and Lynx, who's 25 seconds back, also with time penalties.
Interesting thing I could fill in for the telemetry right now. Both Corvix and Lenny have very depleted batteries. So this is going to essentially
Corvix goes
be
a
on
bit
pure
wayward
pace.
on the final corner.
Corvix is wide, that's gotta be it. I don't
If-
see how you could make up the full second on Lenny here.
Bit of a correction from Lenny though through the last corner as well. Not quite as extreme as Corvix.
We'll see what goes on through.
Free
No!
penalty for Lenny for turn 2, that looked like.
That's it
He'll be
then!
screaming through his helmet.
Oh, that is tragic if
It's
you are the
heartbreaking.
German here. You had to just keep it easy, but Corvix, I think, put up enough of a pace pressure on Lenny. He forced a mistake out. This will probably still be litigated here after the race, but for now, after a very dramatic penalty-filled end to this race, Reaper with another one.
Yeah, battling with the Alpine. I think there'll be some arguments between these two as it looked like one was pushed off by the other in turn 1 and turn 2.
Polo, I'm sorry. Race Polo, one of our stewards here, our de facto head steward. He's gonna be very busy as we now wind on down through the final few corners. There's a wide Ferrari. That's Jinx there. We have, though, the American Dragon, who, at least as things stand, has done enough. Has put the pressure on the Red Bull driver behind him to force another penalty. Corvix is going to cross the line and extend his championship lead. Corvix wins the French Grand Prix. Lenny in second. Leo has kept it perfectly clean throughout this race right now, and he is going to cross the line and round out the podium in third. Sierra started very well, but fell on back. He's going to be crossing the line in fourth. And our
No
last
time penalty.
Indeed, no time penalty. Reaper's crossing the line in fifth. The time penalty will not affect him, I don't think. Even if there will be arguments after the race. A. Drake crossing in sixth. Sparrow, the lead Aston Martin, qualified well, fell back a little bit. I think for her, though, she will be glad that she is ahead of the Alfa Romeo that she got into a tussle with earlier. She's going to cross the line in P7. Wanted a little bit more.
Stuck on track.
Yep. She wanted a little bit more, but at least for now, we'll be there. That is A. Drake, who is already classified. I think he just kind of turned into the wall. The Alfa Romeo gets P8. Everyone else crosses the line.
Or perhaps that Renault engine of A. Drake finally killed itself.
As Renault engines tend to do.
Be interesting to see what happens here with all of the penalties, because some of those I think will be disputed, but there was a lot of penalties there. I think maybe only 3 drivers didn't get one at all. Leo and Syrah have been 2 of them.
I can at least assure you that between Lenny and Corvix there will be a decision made on something. For now, though, the American has extended his championship lead by about 8 points. Does put the pressure on the German, who had one hand on the trophy, but had it snatched away on the last lap. And we will
many
probably
many penalties here.
indeed that was so many track limit warnings. A whole
So we have Corvix that won the race there with Lenny behind, just getting a penalty on the final lap at turn 1, turn 2 in the Red Bull. Rounding out the podium, we have Leo in the Mercedes in 3, Syrah just off the podium in the other Red Bull in 4th. Reaper got driver of the day with the Williams in 5th. A Drake in the Alpine came 6th. Sparrow, the reserve driver Aston Martin today in 7th, and the other Aston Martin in 9th. Of Skylar, AlphaTauri have got 8th, Lynx got 10th, and Random got 11th. And that was our French Grand Prix.
The late rain did force out a ton of improvisation, a ton of different strategy calls. Some worked, some didn't. But
And I
so
believe-
far...
And I believe the next race will be the Circuit of the Americas in 2 weeks' time for the American Grand Prix.
Indeed. At the same time, we'll be at the Circuit of the Americas. Correct?
Yep.
We'll be there in 2 weeks' time, May 24th. It is 12 p.m. Central U.S. time when that begins. On my end. 6 p.m. in the evening, GMT. For now, though, thank you all for watching, for tuning in. I've been Nexy. Hopefully my internet holds up better next time. I'm joined in the comm box here by Avogadro Llewellyn. Our race director is Pridas. Head steward will be Colo. He will have a lot of work to do. I'm sorry, bud. Thank you all very much for watching this presentation of FRL. And I think you forgot one thing, Avo.
What's that?
Your copy pasta.
Oh yeah, that was old me. That was season 2 me.
That was season 2. You are
Yeah.
refusing to engage in
Yeah,
the meme.
it's too late for that. It would have been early on, but I will try and remember for next time.
All right.